What's up, everybody? Welcome to Super Retro, a nostalgic podcast about retro gaming, TV and film, music, pop culture from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. I'm your host, Tuck. That's your host, Will. Thank y'all for being with us, y'all. We're back. I was on vacation, came home from vacation, had a pipe leaking all over the floor. Then the HVAC unit went out, didn't have any air conditioning in the house. The wife and kids were not happy, so it put us on a huge delay, but it doesn't matter because here we are.
You can't leave home, man. Can't leave home.
That's what my wife said. She said, you know what? It's probably because we left and the water was just sitting in them pipes because we got an old-ass house. This house was built in 1937.
Like, you got to be here to use them.
Yeah.
You have to be living here.
You stop using shit, and it just all fucks
Like, if
up.
you left this house for, like, a 5-year time, it would just be full of water.
Exactly. It would be, yeah. So, damn it, man. But anyway, you know what?
We're back. Nothing was damaged.
Yeah, not one. Well, other than we had to tear out a tile wall.
I'm talking about with the collection.
Not a thing was hurt on the collection.
Because that's what I heard when I heard. I was like, what? Oh, what?
Yep.
What? The basement?
Yep.
Where are my VHS tapes?
Yeah.
What about the games?
They're put up.
That's what I told Vinny. I said, man, I told my son, I was like, everything's up.
Yeah.
It'd have to go high.
It would. You know, if we lost like a system or something,
or a couple VHS tapes.
That'd be all right.
Go fuck yourself.
And you know what? Some of those have gotten wet before when water came through the door over there.
Hey, man, they made them VHS tapes to last.
Hey, welcome to the life of being a homeowner. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man. Talk about problems.
Bro, it hit at the same time. I'm down here doing plumbing work, and then the HVAC goes out. It's like, God damn.
Nothing stresses me out more than getting a call from my wife with something wrong with the house.
Because then, you know, it's go mode. Like you
I
have no choice.
I'm like, oh, my God, how much is that going to cost?
Well, let me tell you what I did. So we got home from vacation Saturday night. The Saturday before Father's Day, because Father's Day was on a Sunday.
Yep.
So we had gone to Tybee Island and in Georgia, and there's a really cool retro store. Which shout out to my wife. She looked up all the retro stores and had an itinerary and all kinds of shit for me to for when we were trying to figure out some shit to do while we were there. So we found all three of them. There were three of them. I found all three of them, and there's one called Planet Fun in Savannah, Georgia. Highly recommend it, man. The selection was dope. All the games were sick. They had all kinds of other, there was a whole area of some old school, action figures and stuff. It was really cool spot.
Pictures were cool.
They had a mini arcade in there. They probably had about 10 arcade games in there. So
that's good enough.
It was cool, man. So, I picked up 2 Sega CIBs. We got Booger Man and Tasmania, which when I saw Tasmania, I instantly was just taken back and was like, man, oh my God, all these feelings started flooding back. I mean, I've seen the game out there before, but when I saw the box, I was like, holy shit, I had this game. I remember this game.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, and Booger Man, it's just, you always hear about it. So I brought it home. That Sunday I woke up after coming back, was like, yo, I'm about to play these games. I have a pass to play these games all day long and study them to cover on the podcast, which we're not going to cover either one of those, by the way, on this podcast, but next for sure, at least one, Booger Man probably. But
nope.
My daughter comes down the steps as I'm down here playing, and she steps in a puddle, and she's like, Daddy, what's that puddle? I'm like, oh, no.
Where?
Oh, no.
What puddle?
From that moment on, my next 2 days were spent busting out a tile built-in wall where there were pipes behind it to make, because it was real ugly. So we built up this tile thing to make it look good and put a sink in front of it and shit.
This will be here for years.
Yeah. But we knew them old galvanized pipes. We knew what we were doing. And it actually, now it's sitting right over here out of the picture, busted all up.
Looks good. We might show it to the subscribers.
Yeah, so I knew the next 2 days were spent fucking with that. So didn't get to do anything. Didn't get to play my games on Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
And I had to go into straight dad mode and fix it, but it had to be done. I mean, you can't let a pipe just keep leaking.
I had a good Father's Day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, one of the best.
Good for you,
yeah,
Will.
Man,
I was down here changing pipes.
No, it was me. I was at a baseball field, so.
Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's
what's more Father's Day than that?
I'm built for that.
Mm-hmm. But enough about home ownership and the lows of owning a home.
Yeah, let's get into some super retro.
Let's hit y'all with the opening notes, man. We got a pretty big announcement. And for those of us that follow our TikTok page, you may have already heard this announcement. You can now, if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, or even Apple for that matter, if you want to watch it as well, of course it's always available on YouTube, but a lot of times those aren't the most user-friendly because you have to leave YouTube open. You got to leave your phone open.
Yeah.
You know, but
that's what I like about Spotify.
Yeah, on Spotify, our video is now available for you to listen and watch on Spotify, our whole video podcast. The one you're listening to now, if you're on Spotify, you can open Spotify up and the video will be playing.
And watch all this beautiful stuff behind
and just
us.
look at the collection. Or if we're talking about something and we have it in our hand, like we do have an item we're going to talk about and show here in a little bit, you can just open it up and see it real quick. That's pretty cool, you know, that you're no longer like blind when it comes to what we're talking about.
I sometimes do that when I'm watch like a Rogan or something.
Yeah,
and
if they start watching a clip or something.
They'll start talking about something or watching a clip or having something in the room, and I'll like, hold on.
Yep.
Turn it on.
Yep. So that you now have that
capability.
And
me and Tuck, when we had Spotify when it pretty much first came out.
Yep.
And when the first few podcasts got video, we were always like, dude, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so on our other podcast, we've been doing that one since November of 2017, that we no longer do, by the way. But we did for a long time. And like he's saying, we always wanted to get video on there, and we just weren't eligible or we didn't have the ability.
Yeah, we made it.
And so here we are, y'all. We showed up.
We made it.
We finally have the
ability.
Everywhere. Yeah.
We everywhere now.
But, you know, also go give us a like or a follow or a rating or leave a comment or, you know, a review on the podcast on wherever you would listen. That means a lot to us and it helps. And I have seen them gone up since the last time we asked you guys to do it.
Yeah, super cool, dude.
Appreciate that. Oh, Gmail. People have been emailing us, superretropod@gmail.com. We've gotten a ton of emails.
Yeah, those are cool,
from people. Yeah, and people sending us pictures of their collections or just ideas for the pod. Let's get right. I'm going to read these.
And the website, bro.
www. Got to get that third W in there. .superretropod.com.
People been going.
Yeah, people been hitting the website, so we appreciate that.
We need more stuff.
So let's start with some shout outs. And this was an email right here. This came through superretropod@gmail.com. This is from Chris Gomez. He says, "Hey y'all, love all of your content. I've been binging on the podcast and all of your video content. Really enjoy the trip down memory lane. We've been to Astoria and Cannon Beach a few times because we're huge Goonies fans.
Same.
So it goes without saying, I really loved your episode on it. You can go up to the house and take pictures in front of it. Before the new owner bought the house, the previous owner had a dispute with the city, which I knew this, of Astoria, so he wasn't allowing tourists to go up and take pics. What an asshole,
like,
first
bro,
of all.
You know where you live.
What do you... Anyway, Haystack Rock is magical and is a must visit. Oh, and if you can fit it into your trip, you have to visit Bend, Oregon, just to see the last blockbuster on the planet. Bend is a rad town. Keep up the great work. Cheers."
Man.
Now, you know why I like what he said right there? This is literally on my bucket list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
both of those things.
What a good trip.
Yeah, all three of those things. The Haystack Rock, the Goonies house, and the last blockbuster.
Yeah, man.
My wife and I talk about it frequently.
That's an amazing trip.
Yeah, man. I was super jealous of that one, Chris. Hey, shout out to you, Chris, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
He's followed us. He's ordered shirts. His company, I believe, is called Kaiju Cut and Sew. So,
hey, man, you're our people.
We appreciate that, man. Give my man give him a look on Instagram and the other socials. Want to give another shout out to Christian K. Dunce. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Kadunce. Christian says, awesome podcast, fellas. Been listening for a few months. You guys definitely fill a void for me. A lot of my friends, myself included, are parents now with full-time jobs, etc.
We feel you.
Yeah, and your podcast brings me back to a time when I was carefree, just having fun, living life, man, having very similar conversations and experiences. Just want to thank you guys for putting me in the mind space whenever I get a chance to listen. Keep it up, man. Thank you, Christian.
That's why we do it.
That is exactly why we do it. Everything
100%.
you said, just to take you out of your reality for a minute and take
remember
you back.
an easier, simpler time.
Absolutely. Another shout out to Bigfoot 1977.
What a name.
He says, love the podcast, guys. It's definitely got me on eBay buying old stuff.
Same, bro.
I bought a Nintendo NES, Ghost and Goblins, Mask Rhino toy, and most importantly, some single old food stamps. Single mother, that's all we used on grocery shopping. The man cave is coming together. Man, I relate to that so much.
Me too.
I relate to that so much.
Hey, shout out to the mask toy. I've been on eBay about to pull the trigger on a bunch of masks.
Have you?
Yeah, my God.
You know, I get on a kick where I start looking at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys.
Yeah, man. I'm on there looking
what?
at G.I. Joes and shit, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Do I need these?
Why do I need Storm Shadow and... You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. So, shout out to Bigfoot 1977. Want to give a shout out to Kyle McDaniel. He sent us some pictures of his man cave / hockey cave. We appreciate you sending the pictures. I love being able to see what y'all are out there doing. If you have some pictures, send them to us.
Yeah, man.
You know, we'll give them a good look and maybe talk about them on the pod. Kyle's got it full of retro games, and he even has a little of a connection with the River Frogs, which is like a...
Old minor league hockey team.
Minor league hockey team. He's got a bunch of that memorabilia, which is pretty awesome. You know, only certain people will understand that, and we do. Final shout out, want to give it to Glitch Gang. This dude has hit us up a few times on TikTok. He says, man, I just wanted to let you guys know that your podcast is amazing and really getting me through a hard time because of the BS I have going on. I wasn't gaming at all for pretty much the last year or so, other than a few attempts to keep making videos. I have always loved your videos, but just recently went back and I'm listening to every episode of the podcast, and it has gotten me to start picking up the controller again and have some positivity in my days when there isn't much coming from anywhere else. It's pretty cool how relatable you guys are. I was an only child with a young single mother through the 90s until she got married. So, Tuck, I can really relate to a lot of what you say about growing up. You guys are like older brothers I didn't have there to kick all the 80s knowledge down to me and help me beat my video games, laugh out loud. But yeah, you dudes are awesome. Your show is awesome. I just wanted you to know it's having a positive effect on someone's life right now.
Man.
Keep on doing your thing and keep it retro. Go Bills.
Man, I mean, how...
Bruh.
That hits everywhere.
That is an amazing message.
Yeah, that makes me want to never stop.
It's helping someone.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody's dealing with some shit, turning our rambling dumbasses on.
Bro, I never in my life, when we started this, that thought I would ever help anyone.
Me, same.
No,
Same.
not one bit.
But let me tell you what, I completely understand.
No, me too. I
Because
get it, but I didn't. That wasn't our mission.
There's
You know what I mean?
so many podcasts that I just kind of nerd out on, and like I need need to make me feel normal.
What's funny is you don't know what you need until you find it.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll search for stuff.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you'll be like, that ain't it.
Yeah.
And then you'll find one. You'll be like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually something I needed.
So Glitch Gang, I cannot tell you how much we appreciate that
man.
message. It's literally why we do it.
Yeah. When I got that text and showed me that message, I was like, dang, bro.
And that was really personal, but I did ask him if we could post it.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So don't worry. If y'all send us a message and it's super personal, I won't necessarily post it unless I ask you if it's that personal. If it's some other like lighthearted shit, I will post it.
Hey, man, just keep being you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, get back in there. I'm glad you're picking the controller up again.
Never
all right?
stop. Don't let life make you stop doing anything you love.
Recently I've been playing so many games just to play them without the intentions of even talking about them on here. I'll just pop them in and just try to like take an hour and just kind of like lose myself in it and just really just appreciate every level, stage, all the different, just everything about it.
Yeah, I've been on an old movie kick.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just make myself, I'm like, I'm going to watch something old.
Yep, just do it.
Yeah,
just to learn.
Because usually I'll be like, I want to watch some new show or something. I'm like, no, I'm going to watch something I used to like.
That's awesome.
Because it's funny the stuff you catch now when you're older.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
It's weird.
Yep.
Like I was a half moron when I watched them. Can't believe I even liked some of the stuff.
No shit.
I didn't even get most of it.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Going back and watching an 80s film is an experience,
You're
bro.
like, oh, shit.
Yeah, because you didn't get all the jokes.
There
was a lot of adult humor in the shit.
Yeah,
we
and
were
I
watching.
still liked it, which is weird. Like, they got me without me even knowing what was really going on.
That is
or
what's
what people
cool.
meant by stuff.
That is what's cool about 80. Yeah, the context.
Yeah, they'll say like something in the context, and now, like, back then, there's no chance I would have caught it.
Not
and
at
now
all.
I'm like, oh, my God.
But you liked it.
Yeah, it's so weird.
The way they said it, there was something about it.
It just, it was enough in there to where I was hooked.
Yeah. All right, well, let's hop right into the show and let's get right to some topics. All right, man. So they did this shit back in the 50s and 60s. NASA sent like a satellite out into space, not even into orbit. They just sent this bitch out and let it keep going.
Still going.
It's still going. Playing a bunch of music from back then. Like, I think they put some music from the 50s on there.
And they had to put some Elvis on there.
Yeah, Elvis or some shit. So it got me thinking. If we were to send a satellite out into space today, playing music for aliens to hear, and you could only pick one song, what song would it be? Seriously, think about that. If we sent a satellite out into space that was blasting music for aliens to hear, and you could only pick one song from the 80s or 90s, what would it be? I thought about this.
Me too.
I've been thinking about it all day. When I asked you this morning.
I literally went through a rabbit hole at work where I was like, no one could talk to me. I was just deep in thought.
Yeah.
And I probably listened to 40s, 50 songs.
Straight
No
up.
joke.
I love that you did that.
I couldn't stop. Like, and I got to hear some songs that I didn't even know the names of, but I was like, I know that. Like, just top lists of 80s, 90s.
So,
like, what? And you know what? You fucked me up because you said to send it to aliens. Like, so that made my decision different than just sending it out. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But then I was thinking the whole time is they won't even know what the hell this song is saying.
I understand.
So I didn't want the lyrics to be what drove the song.
Yes.
I wanted the alien to be like, I can bump to this, even though I don't know what they're saying.
I love that answer.
Yeah, like, I was like, it has to be like, there was a couple I had, and I was like, nah, they won't know what the fuck I'm saying. Like, and I was like, I want them to feel it, even though they don't know what's going on. Like, the alien will be out there in his whatever they do, spaceship, whatever, however they
driving.
Yeah, however
Little Will's driving it like it's a low rider.
However they got whatever they got out there hitting a button, they were just like us.
I can see like an alien out there, like a low rider spaceship, just
like
just
you have to.
bobbing.
They have to feel the music.
So I really like that answer because I started thinking about that too. Like, they're not going to understand the lyrics, but what if they did understand the lyrics?
And now that I think about it, they got Google Translate or something to that effect.
That's what I'm saying. Or they're so smart that they already understand all language or something.
If there's not a language they can't.
Or they could just immediately decipher it.
They got Rosetta Stone times 7,000.
Yeah, they could translate it immediately. But then I was like, I don't know.
But it definitely influenced my decision.
Right. And I didn't want to just pick, my favorite song from the 80s or 90s.
Yeah. I didn't either.
I really thought about what kind of captures American music. But,
what if we pick the same song?
Choosing only one song
It's hard.
is impossible.
I have 5 in my mind.
I have so many. And
we don't know each other's songs.
Yeah, we don't know each other.
All right.
So I'm going to start with you. How about you start with yours?
No, you go with yours.
Okay. So after thinking about it and thinking about the 80s and 90s and like grooves and
so
beats.
Different fucking decades, bro.
They truly are, but
because when I looked at the 90s, bro, it was not the same music.
No. Hip hop, they're so different.
R&B, bro, came thundering in
the
90s.
into the 90s, yeah. But so hip hop was, basically created in the 80s and
70s, 80s.
I know, but it like became a thing. First records were dropped in like
became
the early
mainstream.
80s. LL Cool J and all that. So hip hop became known in the 80s and actually exploded in the 90s.
Yeah, it took over.
And is like one of the best music genres there is hip hop in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to break it down to genre and decade. 90s hip hop, it's going to be hard to find a better music than that. So I went with a song from there. And then I started thinking, like, who could talk to aliens? Hypothetically, what musician or musicians do we have out there that if we put them in front of aliens, I would feel more comfortable than, like, say, the Department of Defense or somebody talking to them, like just coming at them from a different place, from speaking almost their language, if you will.
Snoop Dogg?
Not Snoop. Outkast. Elevators by Outkast is the song that I picked. I know that's weird, and you're like, what? Most likely, Andre 3000 in high school was voted most likely to be an alien. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we put Andre in front of aliens, I feel like it would be all right. Like, I feel like the conversation would go somewhere, if that makes sense. So yeah, I picked AT Aliens. The beat is dope. It was released like in 1995, I think, 95 or 96. And it's just, man, I'm telling you, the whole vibe, the beat sounds like something you would see an alien in space bumping in his spaceship lowrider.
That would be cool if a visual of seeing an alien spaceship riding through, bumping that. It's
just so hard to pick one song.
And it is, dude. I went through a fucking smorgasbord of songs.
Who you got?
For mine, I went through a bunch, bro. And most of mine landed in the 70s. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I can't use them.
Yeah, no. 80s and 90s.
So I went with Thunderstruck, AC/DC.
That's not bad.
Because I was just like, I turned it up loud in my AirPods and just listened to the music. Like, if you don't get hype, like,
straight up,
they would be like, I'm fucking with these dudes.
Straight up.
Like, I don't even know what's going on, but I like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because of how intense everything is in that song.
What a crazy interaction to, like, visualize. Meeting aliens, us throwing Thunderstruck
or like them accidentally getting the frequency and it like.
Oh yeah, that's really what the
and
question is.
And then Thunderstruck comes on, and they're like, what?
That's really what this question is. A song you would want them to hear on wherever they're at.
Yeah, whenever.
What would it be?
Like whenever, like 200 years from now, they heard it and was like,
heard Thunderstruck, and they're like, what is this?
I'm ready to go to war.
Bro, that would be so wild.
I'm doing something.
I'm waiting for the day we get that the other way around.
Yeah.
Some shit comes from somewhere else.
And we hear some awesome, crazy song.
That should have been the question.
Yeah.
What
song are we gonna get?
What song is most likely? What is their song most likely going to sound like? Comparable on Earth. Yeah, I would still answer my question. That what if, bro? Can you imagine us sending that signal out and them just hearing, me and you, yo mama and your cousin too, rolling down the dude. What?
That'd be funny.
That'd be hilarious. But yeah, Thunderstruck, man, that's a good one. That's a loud ass, live ass.
Yeah, it's hype.
Heavy. Dude's voice is crazy.
Yeah, it is, man. I listened to it a bunch today.
That dude, I think he's done. The singer of AC/DC. Mm-hmm. He's actually the second singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had two singers, but I guess they have one now.
Good run.
Yeah, damn good run. What a weird band. You almost think about AC/DC. Have you ever bought an AC/DC record? Because I have not.
Back then, I was too young.
But most of their songs I know, and I guess it's just because of the radio. They're a big radio band.
Yeah. They had hits, bro.
They have bangers.
Bangers.
It's just a weird...
That time almost was a banger time.
What year did that come out?
1990.
Thunderstruck did?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought that was a little older than that.
Me too.
I thought that was early.
Like it was cool that stuff like that was coming out in the 90s. Like it was so much like to where it...
That was like a mix.
Like, yeah, because it was still that type of music, and then there was the hip hop, R&B, everything coming out.
Yep.
And then there was love songs. Like I was thinking about a love song. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of songs where I was thinking about, but they were all about like love. You know what I mean? The power of love, or something. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like the message in like elevators. You know, there's what's the part where he says,
oh, that beat is, I mean, anything can like that.
Where Andre's like, hey, man, remember me from school? No, not really. But he kept smiling like a clown, facial expression, looking silly. He kept asking me, what kind of car you drive? I know y'all paid. I know y'all got boo-goo. What whole lot of song y'all to make? And I replied, I've been going through the same thing that he had.
Yeah.
True, I got more fans than the average man, but not enough loot to last me. To the end of the week, I lived it. That whole shit.
Yeah.
That shit
cool.
is sick.
Yeah, it was.
But anyway, so what song?
Yeah, give us some options. What would you pick?
Would you blast out of a satellite into space for aliens to hear 200 years from now? All right, y'all. Who remembers the game Adventure Island on the NES?
Little caveman.
Hey,
Riding a skateboard.
Developed by Hudson Soft, released in North America on the NES September 5th, 1988. Adventure Island is an adaptation of the arcade game Wonder Boy that was developed by none other than Sega. The player controls Master Higgins, a young man who ventured into the Adventure Island in the South Pacific after hearing that the evil witch doctor kidnapped Princess Tina to rescue her. Higgins must survive a series of 32 stages. There are 8 worlds called areas, which are divided into 4 stages or rounds each, which are further divided into checkpoints.
I did not know it was that long.
I know.
I definitely never beat this. Never.
This was a renter for me.
I was going to tell you that was the one thing about this game that I have to tell you is I rented the shit out of this.
Yeah, I definitely rented it multiple times.
I don't think I ever owned it until now.
When the player reaches the 4th round of each area, he must confront a boss at the end to continue to the next area. The game is completed when the player saves the girl after defeating the 8th and final form of the evil lord.
We should really go one night and try to beat it.
So in preparation for this, I played it. I made it pretty far. I probably made it to, I don't even know what you call it, the second stage, or the 3rd stage. But dude, I gotta say, the dude on there, if you don't know any history on the game or anything, little buddy looks like a shirtless hipster with a beer belly going to smash some brewskis at the brewery of the month. You know what I'm talking about? He looks like a little hipster, dog, with the hat,
throwing
his
hatchets,
big belly. Yeah,
like,
man.
What a cool little character to make in '88. It's not your typical character.
It's not your typical NES game.
No,
either. I mean it's a side scroller or whatever. Like it. But I don't know, just I had forgotten.
Like it was like a caveman skateboarding, throwing hatchets.
Love that
like
shit.
What? With
Love
eggs and like, I mean,
all kinds of wild shit.
What a weird game.
It is a weird game. It is weird. So
and like you could hit back and stop, like sort of, and then go forward and jump over stuff. And it was like a weird concept.
It was, man. So Adventure Island, y'all. What do y'all remember about Adventure Island? Like I said, little buddy looks like a hipster. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Still fun. And the cover's pretty cool looking.
Another NES game with amazing art. When it was released, Adventure Island received mixed reviews, but a lot of publications like Game Radar ranked it 23rd best NES game ever made. And I would agree that it's in the top probably 50, top 75 NES games ever made.
It's one of those fun just to pick it up and play.
It is hard, though. The further you get into it, like those first couple levels, they kind of tease you. And, they're kind of easy to get through. But it starts getting really hard really fast. And you're like, oh, shit, I'm in.
At this point, you just have to realize that every NES game is hard back then.
Every single one of them. And I've been seeing people talk about that, because I'm on all these forums and groups and stuff on social media. I've been seeing people say that Nintendo 64 games and up are harder
I saw that.
than Nintendo NES games or Super Nintendo games. Out of their mind.
Yeah, I would say deeper.
What do you mean?
Those 64 games were deeper, but not harder.
Exactly.
Because I beat a lot of those 64 games, but it took time.
Longer.
Yeah. Definitely
longer. And you had to get deeper and
Plus,
you had to do more things.
Those people that you're talking about had help.
For sure.
Like you didn't then.
No. And it's a different type of hard when you talk about about hard. Like the NES games, they were just difficult to do the smallest task.
Yeah.
To beat the smallest enemy or the jump or whatever it is.
Like the stuff on 64 was more about like a puzzle or something
Right,
here or
right.
something you had to figure out.
Apples to oranges.
No, yeah.
You can't compare the two, in my opinion.
I beat more 64 games than I think I did in NES games.
For sure.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Adventure Island, what do y'all remember? All right, y'all. Do y'all remember the song I Got 5 on It by the Luniz?
Yep. I don't think you had to.
If you don't remember this song, you were not alive.
It was
in the
so
90s.
big.
That's one of those songs when you hear that opening line,
Oh my God.
that opening sound of the beat,
Man,
it just you freeze in your spot.
it was so good.
When you hear that, it does something to your chest. It's like your teenage years calling back to
Man,
you.
it was
like,
at every party, every hangout.
yeah. It's
You
like
heard somebody played that.
now they play the shit at weddings.
If it was if you were at some kind of an event at that time in your life, it was on the playlist. It was in the rotation.
And it still bangs today.
Yeah, it does.
It still bangs today. When you hear it, you're instantly time warped back to a simpler time when rap music was at its peak. I mean, its true golden era for me is in the 90s, early to mid 90s. It does not get better. That's one of the top genres in music. Every once in a while, groups like that or solo artists will catch lightning in a bottle and just create pure magic that lives forever.
And they can never reproduce it.
And I Got 5 on It is a true hip-hop masterpiece. I Got 5 on It is a hip-hop song by American rap duo Luniz, featuring R&B singer Michael Marshall, released in May of 1995 and was the lead single on the duo's debut album, Operation Stackola. The song reached number 2 in Germany, number 3 in the United Kingdom, and number 8 in the United States.
How dare you?
It is a drug anthem about the consumption of marijuana. Its title and chorus refer to the practice of splitting the cost of a marijuana purchase and claiming $5 worth of it.
That's hilarious.
The single was certified platinum by the RIAA on October 31st, 1995 and sold 1 million copies domestically. Now, I pulled that information off Wikipedia. What I think is funny is it said claiming $5 of the purchase. That's not what you did.
It was like it was explaining what it meant to go 5 on it.
That's funny.
It's hilarious.
No, I got a better explanation here in a second. But no, the way I looked at it is when you put 5 on it, that means you were throwing 5 on the bag, your boy was throwing 5 on the bag, y'all were about to get a dime bag and you were going to smoke it together.
Yeah.
You weren't claiming shit.
Or you're trying to get a 20 sack. Like,
or
you might have 4 friends, everybody's throwing up.
That's right. Or you just whatever
Like,
you can get
hey,
up to.
how much we got? I got 5 on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I might have set it a time or two. And
That's like, that's known. Like, everyone did that.
yeah.
Like, how much you got?
Especially back in the day when you were a teenager and you were broke.
Oh, yeah.
You had 5 to contribute, but that was about it.
When they started out dabbling with the old marijuana, they would all go in on it with
That's
each
right.
other.
That's right.
Like when you started buying your own bags, that was a different level of life.
You had
You know
a
what I
job
mean?
at that point.
Yeah. You were like, oh, I'm buying my own. Like
Yeah.
I might have a problem. Like
Straight
before,
up.
you just socially all like, hey man, let's get together.
Yeah. It was like a hangout.
Yeah,
thing.
it was a good time.
When I asked AI, hey, explain to me what I Got 5 on It is about, just because I was curious what it would say. It said, the track is performed by Yuckmouth and Numbskull, who duet about splitting the cost of a $10 bag of weed before going to a convenience store to buy Tanqueray gin, Carlo Rossi wine, Arizona brand soft drinks, and a Swisher Sweet cigar to break down and convert into a blunt.
I like that they said break down and convert into a blunt.
I know, like how it break it down and convert it. So Luniz, man, that beat is iconic.
Man.
That time period is iconic. I just want to thank these guys for creating a masterpiece. Do y'all remember the song, man? You have to remember it. What does it remind you of? Remind you rolling? Are you riding around listening to it? Are you at house parties? Are you watching the video on MTV? What does it remind you of? What mood does it put you in? Anytime it comes on for me, I let it roll.
It was a good time. All right, y'all. Who remembers Crazy Taxi on Sega Dreamcast?
Developed by Hitmaker, released as an arcade game in 1999 and released in 2000 on the Sega Dreamcast, y'all. Each game has the player assume the role of a taxi driver who must accumulate money by delivering passengers to their destinations in the fastest time possible, earning tips by performing crazy stunts before the time runs out. The franchise has been recognized for its innovative gameplay design, which is easy to learn but difficult to master, its use of in-game advertising, and its soundtrack music provided by the bands Offspring and Bad Religion. The core gameplay mechanic was patented by Sega, leading to at least one lawsuit over similar gameplay in The Simpsons Road Rage, which was settled out of court.
Got paid.
Yeah, somebody got paid. This game, bro.
No, like it was like my introduction to Dreamcast. Like it was one of those first titles when I got my Dreamcast where I was like, this is next level. And like you said, it was just such a weird concept. Like, it's an easy, simple concept to understand, but like to be able to actually master it on your system, like to go and ride around and you're just a taxi driver.
Yeah,
and you get to do crazy stuff.
I like how it said it's easy to control but difficult to master.
Yeah, it's true.
And it really is, because those controls, man, that's one thing that I think of immediately is popping it in, and within seconds
you're picking people up and taking them places.
You're doing, this one, those triggers on the back of that Dreamcast controller really just felt different. They were so
iconic,
responsive.
Bro. It was an iconic controller system, everything.
It was different. Like the way it felt was different than anything else. You really kind of felt like you were driving the car.
It was, if the controller, it made you immersed into the game.
For sure. Crazy Taxi, top notch, 10 out of 10 on the controls.
One player game.
One player, that's all you needed. But yeah, it probably would have been fun to play against each other, try to beat each other's times, which you did anyway.
Yeah.
You did that anyway. My friends and I, we did that all the time. We would play, and you get your score, and then I try to beat your score.
How fast can you take this person?
Yep.
And it says, grab the wheel and prepare for the craziest cab ride of your life.
For sure.
Like,
that cover's sick.
I mean, the cover tells you exactly what you're about to engage in.
And this is the first time, and I could be wrong with this statement, but correct me if I'm wrong, that actual real music was in a game.
I mean, it's early.
I don't remember any real music from bands that I knew in a game.
Yeah.
The music on the game really set the atmosphere, and it sounded like it was on the radio, which made it an even cooler thing.
Think about how many games have followed that.
They did that, like Grand Theft Auto was infamous for that.
They have their own actual shows on there that aren't even real.
This laid the groundwork for that.
Yeah, for sure. And it had 3 game modes: arcade, original, and crazy box.
Yeah, I always did.
4 unique taxi cabs and 4 unique drivers.
I only remember the arcade mode. I don't even know. What was the other one? Box what?
Crazy box.
I don't even know what that is.
Original.
I don't remember what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crazy Taxi
on
the Dreamcast. Many of our introductions to the game.
Groundbreaking game.
One of the first I played for sure. All right, y'all. I want to talk about Take On Me, the pop synth song released by Norwegian band Aha. The song hit #1 on the American Billboard Hot 100 charts in October of 1985. The music video was groundbreaking. This thing dropped at the same exact time as MTV was really catching steam. MTV started in 1981. The video was released in 1985. And I mean, this thing exploded.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear this song, you have to think of the video.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. And the song is obviously legendary. I freaking love the song. To me, it defines the 80s.
It does.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a better pop song from the 80s.
It was almost my Alien song.
Yeah, you can't do it. You cannot find a better 80s song. It's definitely top 5. I mean, it's a beautiful song. And I actually saw not an acapella. I actually saw an acoustic version of it on that they did just from a few years back, and the dude can actually really sing and sounds dead up like the recording all these years later.
I bet.
That makes the song even that much more legendary. Yeah, but you really got to ask yourself, what would this song be without that video? I guess we'll never know because obviously it has it. It was directed by a director named Steve Barron. The video uses a pencil sketch animation and live action combination called rotoscoping, in which the live action footage is traced using a frame-by-frame process to give the characters realistic movements. Approximately 3,000 frames were rotoscoped, which took 16 weeks to complete.
That's legendary right there.
Yeah. To celebrate 65 years of the Hot 100 chart, in 2023, the Billboard staff ranked the 500 best pop songs that graced the charts since 1958, placing Take On Me at number 26.
That's a good number.
I mean, it's really one of the best. Go back and listen to it. It's a fantastic song. It's beautiful.
I listened to it today.
It personifies 80s music. It takes the pop, it takes the big vocals, the ballad sound, and just blends it all so well.
Yeah.
It received a shit ton of awards, and I'm not even going to go through. And this song was actually released a couple times overseas, and it actually didn't do that well. Maybe the video did propel it here in the States because it blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Take On Me, it's sitting at almost 2 billion streams on Spotify when I checked today. Like, damn, can you imagine making something
in that long, and then some other website comes out.
Yeah, 40 years into the future.
Yeah.
And 2 billion people listen to it.
That's pretty cool.
Shit's wild.
You did good, you Norwegians.
Y'all remember when it was about to turn the year 2000?
In the year 2000.
Everybody started freaking out and saying that this whole Y2K thing was going to happen.
I never gave a shit.
I didn't give one solid fuck, but I do remember where I was at when it happened.
People cared. It's just like today where people try to tell you to care about something, and you're like, nah.
This was the first time.
That's what I'm saying.
This was the first media craze where media was trying to control how we felt.
Yeah, it happens now, and you're just like, nah.
Yeah.
But back then, people really started freaking out.
You ever notice how you see them trying to talk about there's a new strain of COVID?
I don't
and you're just like, and what?
I don't care.
Nah.
I don't care anything they say now. Like, they done ruined everything. They could be like, a meteor will hit, and I'm like, I don't care.
Be like, but will it?
Yeah.
Will it, though?
Liar.
Yeah. That's a different podcast topic.
Liars.
But yeah.
Y2K, Tuck asked, do you remember it? I was like, I remember nothing.
I remember nothing.
You know what happened? Nothing.
I remember I was in a house party here in Louisville, Kentucky, and
nothing happened.
It was 1999. I was 19 years old. It was about to turn to the year 2000.
I was 21.
And not a fucking thing happened.
Nothing.
We all knew it, though. It was bullshit. But
everyone went to work. Everyone went to school.
Everyone thought they were going to lose all their money.
Yeah,
they thought all the systems were going to shut down across the world. I don't think anything happened.
I went to McDonald's the next day. Like, everything was fine.
Was this the first media fueled thing that really caught wheels and blew up on the internet? This was early.
Who started it?
This was early viral internet media shit.
It went viral. The news covered it.
Yeah.
And freaked everybody out.
They did.
Whose idea was like, hey, it's gonna fuck everything up?
I don't know.
Like I remember people telling me the digits. They won't
turn over
when it goes to 2000. It'll break everything.
It's not set up for that. We didn't know.
Fucking stupid, bro. Oh my god. We made it, guys.
We did it. We're good. So
we're still here.
Did y'all know that Sega developed their own RPG game called Crusader of Centy to rival Nintendo's Zelda: A Link to the Past?
Man, you can't mess with
because
Zelda.
Back then Sega and Nintendo were going at it, and honestly at the time they were neck and neck in the North American market.
Yep.
Sega had Sonic as an answer for Mario. They were definitely king when it came to the sports games.
Killed them.
And they were geared more towards the young teens. They had that demo on lock, but they severely lacked with the younger kids
RPGs, bro.
in the RPG department.
Nintendo was killing them.
Final Fantasy, Zelda, a plethora of other ones that I'll forget, but you know what I'm talking about.
Earthbound.
They probably had 20 that
Yeah.
are just money.
They were all bangers.
People love. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Banger after banger. So Sega got together and said, you know what? We got to figure this shit out.
No, they was like this when they were doing their homework. It was like,
Dude,
what we do?
Yeah.
Make the exact same game.
if you don't know what this game is,
Looks just like Link to the Past.
go search it on YouTube, Crusader of Centy, and for a second, you feel like you're watching a playthrough of Link to the Past. This thing is identical, y'all.
How'd they not get sued?
I have no idea how they didn't get sued. There must be some way around it, because whatever the loophole was, they found it, because this is the same fucking game.
They stole the game. It was like, copied this.
And it is super expensive. It's super rare because it was released later into Sega's life cycle, which was weird. But and it didn't sell at all. This thing did not sell at all. It fell flat on its face just because this wasn't their market.
They're still not making the Crusader of Centy 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and
They're still not. This one
it didn't make it.
But it has been re-released a couple times. But what's funny is people love the game now.
I
People
bet.
that go back and play it,
I bet it's a good game.
people are like, "Damn, that's a good
Bro,
game."
if you're gonna try to copy one game, A Link to the Past is it. Any version of that kind of game
Anyone.
is gonna be fun.
So listen to this story. Let's just get into just a small bit of their story. Crusader of Centy is an action-adventure game developed by Nextech for the Sega Genesis. The story centers on Corona, a boy who has just turned 14 years of age and must inherit his late father's sword to fight the monsters that threaten the human race's
Zelda.
existence. Gameplay uses an overhead perspective focusing on exploring,
Zelda.
battling enemies with a sword, and solving puzzles.
Zelda.
As the story progresses, numerous animals join the hero and aid him. They are used in gameplay like weapons or tools, which often grant passage to previously inaccessible areas. The game received its first official re-release on the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack on June 27th of 2023.
How cool is that?
That is awesome.
That like it was a Sega
Yeah.
game, and then if Sega ended up making games for Nintendo.
That's how full circle this shit has gone.
That's full circle.
It's full circle. The game wasn't released in North America until March of 1995 with a retail price of $70,
That's
bro.
wild.
In 1995.
That's fine.
And if you think about the lifespan of the Sega Genesis in 1995, bro.
No, I wasn't even messing with it.
Nah, we were playing PlayStation 1.
Yeah, like Twisted Metal,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Why
Why would I go back to a Link to the Past bootleg?
Yeah, we were into the new era,
Yeah.
The U.S. version of the game has become a collector's item due to its poor initial sales.
Always happens.
A loose cart goes for around $600. A
God
complete in-box goes around $1,200. And if you're lucky enough to have a sealed new version, that will bring in $3K.
Bro.
I just want the loose one. I just want
Send
the loose.
us a loose one.
Y'all got a loose one? Let me hold on to it.
Let's get a loosey.
Let me hold a loose one. A hint book was also released in 1995 alongside the game. The hint book was reportedly only available
mail order.
via mail-in order forum page inside the game's manual. As a result of this, the hint book itself has also become a rare collector's item, and since then, no online scan exists of it archived.
That's crazy.
So the only people that have it are the people that have it.
No one's putting it online.
You can't find it anywhere.
That's weird.
Nobody. You can't see what it looks like.
You know who has it? Nobody.
Nobody broke that shit.
Nobody.
There's 3 people.
Not one person. 3 people mailed it in, and they are all dead.
Yeah. The reason why you can't find it online anywhere is because nobody has the motherfucker.
Yeah. Nobody ever cared.
But
That guy was sitting there with that mail, wherever that mail was coming to.
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting there with dust. There's no one.
he's still
He
waiting.
never got one mail.
Nobody.
I'm gonna send one of these out.
Yeah.
He made one copy.
No, you not. No, you not. But as a collector, I must say,
I'm
interested in this game.
I want it.
And I would love to have it in any form. Obviously, the CIB would be choice, but your boy would take a loose cartridge.
I'll take it.
So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. If you watch this game, seriously, go watch some tutorials on this thing. This is straight up Zelda: A Link to the Past. Everything. It's got the bushes.
Yeah.
It's got the huts. Everything about it, the gameplay, the controls, it all just looks exactly like Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Who played this game?
And if you've ever played it, let us know.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not talking about on an emulator.
No.
Or online.
Who played this on Sega?
Did you play the physical? Did you play the physical? All right, I need to clear this up. You could only use the Mortal Kombat blood code on the Sega Genesis. All right? If you remember it on the Super Nintendo, you're wrong.
That's a false memory.
That's a Mandela effect. It did not happen. The only way you could get what resembled blood on the Super Nintendo was to pop in the Game Genie, go in, and reprogram the color of the sweat to red. But you did not have a blood code.
That's what I'm telling you, man. That's what made Genesis version superior.
100%.
That's why literally people wanted it on Sega more than the Super Nintendo.
It probably sold
That's what I was gonna say. I wonder what the sales.
directly correlated to the blood.
100%.
What were those? You know, I already had one at the time, and at that time when they dropped, and I was able to get the blood, I was like, "Well, sitting over here with my Sega.
I remember.
Y'all over here with your Super Nintendos, you peasants."
Like we had buddies who had one, and then buddies who had buddies had the SNES, and then buddies had the Sega Genesis, and we would go to the Genesis house to play it instead of my buddies
For
with
sure.
the Super Nintendo.
You don't want that bullshit.
No.
But you know what? Nintendo, at the last minute, decided to take it out. But I think they got their shit together when they realized how much they had made a mistake. And when they released Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super
it was on
Nintendo,
there.
Blood's on there.
Yeah. What was it? Green or something?
The sweat? Yeah. And they were just worried. It's so funny. Like, now think about it. It's almost silly when you go back and play it.
Watch it now.
Comparatively
Take
speaking.
a whole skeleton out of somebody,
I know.
throw it and burn it in the hell. And
But yeah, if you remember a blood code on the Super Nintendo, it's a false memory.
Yeah.
It was the Game Genie was the only way you could do it. The Sega Genesis had the blood code. Just wanted to clear the air on that. All right, y'all. Let's talk about Altered Beast.
man,
It's a 1988 beat-em-up arcade video game developed and published by Sega. The game is set in ancient Greece and follows a player character chosen by Zeus to rescue his daughter Athena from the demonic ruler of the underworld, Neph. Through the use of power-ups, the player character can assume the form of different magical beasts: a wolf, a dragon, a bear, a tiger, and a golden wolf. It was ported to several home video game consoles and home computers. It was the pack-in game for the Mega Drive when the system launched in 1988. Altered Beast was developed by Makoto Uchida. He took inspiration from The Howling and the music video for the Michael Jackson song Thriller.
I can see that.
I can definitely see it. The transitions, the transition scenes, for sure.
Man, but that to me, that's the first game I think I ever played on Genesis.
Me too. I used to get it confused with Golden Axe being the first one I played. It's 100% Altered
Like
Beast.
I went to my buddy's house the day it came out.
And that's what they had. Because at the time you would get a Sega and it would come with the game. It came with it.
Did it come with it?
That's what they just said, a packing game.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I ever knew about Genesis was this game.
That's right. It's a lot of people's introduction, which is weird, because it doesn't have the same like sting as like a Mario or a Sonic.
No, but it did have some weird, new, cool stuff that I never had seen before, like the transitions into the animals.
The cutscenes. The cutscenes were sick.
It was really cool.
Yeah, speaking of the art, design, and all that, Uchida and his team used the System 16 arcade system board for its ability to add great detail to large character sprites, as well as the visual effects it could provide, such as limbs flying off characters during combat. However, Uchida was not impressed by the initial concept art, so he worked with an artist to sketch out his specific ideas on character design. While the results of this were positive, Uchida's lead designer quit the team over the situation. A little bit of drama on the
And it
on
still
the
came out beautiful.
Game is absolutely beautiful. It's classified as a beat 'em up game, which to me it feels more than that. You know, when I think beat 'em up games, I think Streets of Rage, Final Fight, Double Dragon.
Yeah, it had a little more like story behind it.
Yeah, it was like a sci-fi dark horror film type of thriller game. It didn't feel quite beat 'em up, but
it had a little more into it.
But at its core, I guess it is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But it just felt like more than that. You know, the bosses were crazy. They, the fucking what is that boss? The second boss. This eyeball boss.
Yeah.
Mad annoying, bro. I could not beat this dude when I popped it back in recently and was trying to play it. It took me like 15 minutes to figure out his pattern. God damn, it was a little more difficult. But yeah, you know, Sega really had that whole genre on lock.
Yeah, the sounds, the animations, everything, the controls were cool.
Dude, speaking of the sounds, somebody was going in on the bass.
Yeah, the sounds are nuts.
Somebody was going in on the bass. And you know, the Sega, for me, I don't want to go as far as to say that the Sega sounded better overall than the Super Nintendo. But, dude, it definitely had its own lane.
Yeah.
It definitely had its own style.
They definitely weren't trying to copy Nintendo.
There was nothing the same about it. And, I mean, there's a small part of me, minus anything that Koji Kondo did.
Yeah.
Everything else on the Genesis may be better.
I agree.
Some of that music is just crazy good.
It's totally different, too. Like, Nintendo sounds in my head, I can hear them, and they're all, like, the same type of sound.
Right. You can tell that they're... Yeah, made from like the same keyboard, if you will.
And then like the Sega stuff was just next level. Like,
it really was.
It changed the game.
I don't know if there was a different chip in there that allowed them to do some other shit.
Even on the sports games.
It definitely
sound
sounded
was
like
so
it.
good.
Definitely sounded like it. I feel like maybe they did have the upper hand when it came to the sound.
100%.
And anytime, you know, Nintendo would do something horror, sci-fi-ish like that, it would oftentimes come across corny. But not saying that they didn't, because, you know, they did a lot of dope shit. But those cutscenes where they convert into the wolf,
man,
and all that, that's iconic.
The sound when it happened, it was so cool.
That is super nostalgic.
Yeah,
you know, that's part of your childhood.
Altered Beast, man.
But I do want to say one thing. The controls, if you go back and play it, the controls, man. I never like to like rag on a game's controls, but I was reading about this game. A lot of people were bitching about the controls, and I remember when I was playing, like the jump fighting and kick, there's a lot of times where enemies are placed in a weird position to where you can't hit them, but they're coming right for you.
Yeah. It's
almost impossible to hit them just based on their angle and when you can jump and when you can fire off a punch or a kick, because you can't just freely kick. You got it'll only go in a certain spot.
It's a little clunky.
It's definitely clunky. But with that being said, you know, this was his first time designing a game.
Great game, great name, great cover, all that. Like the whole game, the sound. I mean, it was a good game.
I give the controls a pass based on the way it looked and how, and at the end, like when I go back and look at the game, it's still fun to play. Let's talk about the top grossing movies of the 1990s.
Great years.
Let's hop right into it, y'all.
It's my job! You go take care of my little girl now.
Number 10, Bruce Willis hit us with Armageddon in 1998, bringing in a whopping $553 million.
Ain't no rock gonna kill Earth when you got Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis? Man in the ship? He was man in the ship, wasn't he?
He was all of it.
Regular water or tap water?
All right, Beatrice. There was no alien. Flash of light you saw in the sky was not a UFO. Swamp gas from a weather balloon was trapped in a thermal pocket and refracted the light from Venus.
Number 9, and this is a classic. Men in Black, released in 1997, brought in $589 million. Had our boy Will Smith in it and Tommy Lee Jones. Will Smith shows up a couple times on this list, y'all. My man absolutely owned the 90s when it comes to movies.
That was a huge movie.
Number 8, The Lost World Jurassic Park, released in 1997, bringing in $618 million.
Man, that whole franchise.
Huge. Still huge today.
Bring dinosaurs back immediately.
You know, I think of, oh boy, what's old boy's name from Seinfeld? Norman or some shit?
Yeah, he gave the codes up. He snitched.
I see dead people.
Number 7, The Sixth Sense, $672 million, released in 1999, and Bruce Willis makes another appearance on the top 10 grossing movies of the 1990s. That man was a superstar.
He was.
Had that little creepy ass kid in it.
Man, that ending might be the craziest flip of a movie in history. The whole movie, you're like, oh, this is sad. And then they get to the end, you're like, oh my God.
He been dead.
I watched this whole movie thinking he was alive.
That's how Fight Club did me too.
Oh, yeah.
That twist at the end.
Yeah.
There's no Fight Club.
He's just fighting himself the whole time.
Number 5. Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope. Bro, you did it.
I'm going to heaven, Lieutenant Dan.
Oh? Well. Before you go, why don't you get your ass down to the corner and get us another bottle of Red Bull?
Yes, sir.
Number 6, Forrest Gump, released in 1994, $677 million.
Man.
Our boy Tom Hanks created an iconic character.
I think if we sent a movie to the aliens, this would be it.
That's pretty damn good. But then he would be like, oh, they're all a little...
Hey, man.
You can't say it.
Calm down. Forrest Gump is a national treasure. Jumped up and bit me.
Quick, stampede in the gorge. Simba's down there.
Simba.
Number 5, The Lion King, released in 1994 and brought in $763 million.
94 was killing.
No surprise on this.
Good.
One of Disney's biggest films of all time. We all saw it.
Sad as fuck.
You know you had the VHS in the big puffy case.
Welcome to Earth.
Number 4, Independence Day. Will Smith showing up again. This was released in 1996 and brought in $817 million.
Aliens, dude.
I did not know this movie was that big.
I did.
But did you know it was bigger than The Lion King and Forrest Gump and The Lost World, Men in Black? I would have said no.
I'm pretty sure I went to the movies like 5 times to see it.
Damn. Number 3, Jurassic Park, released in 1993, brought in $914 million.
Like when you told me they were going to make a movie about bringing dinosaurs back to life, everyone was in.
From a
Like,
mosquito found in like tree sap.
yeah, but like before that, we didn't know. No one knew that. You know what I mean? But like we went.
You could not avoid this movie.
No.
Marketing was
Oh, my
everywhere. The Happy Meals.
Dinosaurs came back in 1993. I thought we'd have dinosaurs by now.
Like, you know how we talk about AI now?
Yeah.
We're like, oh shit, bro.
It's coming.
Like, AI is right around the corner.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
what
these
I
dinosaurs
needed.
were about it because this is when people start talking about cloning and
Yeah,
all
I
that
thought we
shit.
was going to have a woolly mammoth.
We should have already had something.
Yeah.
Should have been had something.
We gotta do something, R2.
Number 2, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was released in 1999, brought in a whopping $924 million. It was the long-awaited prequel
Yeah.
to the previous 3 films.
This is like the culmination of our childhood watching Star Wars. And then one day we were like, we're going to get a new one. It didn't even matter that the response was sort of bad when it came out because everyone was so hyped.
I don't think they could have released a film that didn't have a negative response.
No, nothing.
I think it was impossible.
Yeah, at that time it was. It's like you couldn't live up to it. But now people are starting to like go back and be like,
It's all right.
they're all right.
Well, it's because they're putting all this other
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
out.
that's what I'm saying. Go back and look at
Yeah.
it now. You're like, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
We're sorry. But Jar Jar Binks was still terrible.
The number 1 top grossing movie of the 1990s was Titanic.
Man, I knew immediately.
$1.8 billion released in 1997. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Killed it. It's Jack Dawson.
When I think of this movie, I think of the band playing when the ship goes down.
But what's cool about this movie is the whole factual of the wreck and watching it. Like, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And you get to see these people go through something like this.
And at first, it felt minor to everyone on the boat. It was just like, dude,
well,
what was that?
We're all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everyone's going to die. James Cameron and how deep they went into researching and getting it right. It's unbelievable to watch today. And he could have fit on that damn door.
But there you go, y'all. Top grossing movies of the 1990s. All right, y'all. Let's talk about Tony Hawk, a.k.a. the Birdman, a pioneer of modern vertical skateboarding. Tony Hawk made his television debut on Captain Kangaroo as Skateboard Johnny in 1981. Wild. Hawk became a professional skateboarder at age 14. By age 16, he was sponsored by Pal Peralta, Tracker, Sundeck, and Vans. Hawk was the official National Skateboard Association World Champion for 12 consecutive years.
That's a run.
With the money he made from skateboarding, Hawk bought his first house during his senior year of high school.
Can you imagine skateboarding and being like, I own a house in high school?
I've seen footage of him in the house.
His dad pushed him to buy a house with the money.
That is wild.
And he had a skate ramp in his backyard.
You can tell that he had good parents.
Yeah.
He's a well-mannered, well-spoken kid, even if he was rebellious.
Yeah.
You know?
His dad was, I didn't know at the time how influential his dad was in skateboarding in general.
I didn't either.
Yeah, his dad held like contests and events and shit and ran them. And
that's really cool.
Frank Hawk was big into skateboarding.
So he got him into it.
Well, he saw Tony getting into it and sort of like, all right. I'll help you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because he was, a man of means. So he was like throwing to like events and stuff, and his son was getting in it.
Yeah.
Like, so he sort of like helped him.
Yeah, fostered.
Yeah.
He fostered what he was trying to do.
He for sure did.
We appreciate it. What was his name, Frank?
I think Frank Hawk.
We appreciate Hey, Big Frank. Hey.
Rest in peace.
You did good. So Tony's glossary of vert staples include the Madonna, the rodeo flip, the airwalk, the kick flick McTwist, the 720, and of course, the door opening internationally televised 900, amongst others.
Man, I watched that live.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was
so cool.
It was an event. Tony has gone above and beyond what you'd expect from an average pro.
He's the godfather, man.
A video game was based on Hawk's skateboarding titled Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and it debuted in 1999, which was another classic that we'll cover.
So awesome.
Tony Hawk is like the Rick Rubin of skateboarding, if you will. You know,
he's the Michael Jordan.
I saw something the other day about a kid doing double 900s. Have you seen that going around?
He did back-to-back.
I
think he might have did 3.
I don't know. I saw the headline. I didn't even watch it.
It was a little kid.
And I saw like Barstool saying the skateboarders of today make the skateboarders in Tony Hawk's era look like plumbers. And I thought that was kind of a fucked up thing to say. Like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar started dunking the ball. Does he dunk it? Did he dunk it like Vince Carter or anybody? He was the first one to really get out there after it and take chances.
I hate people who don't play sports say stuff like this. Like, because I deal with it all the time in baseball. About they're like, oh, the people like Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig's era weren't good baseball players. I'm like, you don't get a Shohei Ohtani without them doing that. Like, everything is a building block. Like, you can't say those people aren't as good. There wouldn't be these people.
Exactly.
There is no athletes like today.
They showed you a way to do it that no one was doing before.
If you're not better now than you were then, you didn't do your homework.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, now these kids know what's possible.
Exactly.
You can't do a 900 back-to-back. You can only do it now because of this dude.
Yeah.
He saw something in his mind that didn't exist. So now a little 10-year-old is sitting out there thinking he can do it. And so now he does it back-to-back.
Like, when you prove something is possible,
it changes
physically
you.
possible, you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
So I can do it.
Yeah.
Like, my body is capable. I just have to.
Yeah, and you got to pay respects to the people who brought it out of nothing.
And that's why he'll forever be regarded as the best vert skater.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
There's no question about it.
And Tony Hawk changed the game of making money through skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
No one made money like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing. No one was buying houses.
Yeah, it's
skateboarding.
Wild. That's wild. A
Like,
kid.
And no one was making video games skateboarding. Like, this dude has pioneered everything. That little kid that just did that,
yeah,
he's making money because of this dude.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes without saying that he's definitely the most influential.
He's still influential. He's still skateboarding right
skateboarder
now.
of all time. Yeah.
He just like broke his leg last year.
How old is he now?
He's old. Older than me. If I'm old, he's older.
56 years old. Still out there getting after it. He did retire in 2003 from like professional competitions, but you know.
But now he does have a podcast now. The Hawk and the Wolf. And
I haven't listened yet.
It's really cool because they do
I know
a lot
you've
of.
mentioned it.
They do it, and they're both old skateboarders, so it's cool. You get a little nuggets of old school.
Who's he on there with?
Hawk, or Jason Ellis.
Oh, Jay. Okay.
Yeah. It's Hawk and Wolf.
Oh, gotcha. I'll check that one
They're
out.
both old vert skaters. So and you get a bunch of nuggets of old school skateboarding tips and stuff. Just talking about old cool stuff.
All right, y'all. So Tony Hawk, you know what? We didn't talk about his movies that he did. I mean, the one that I remember the most is Gleam in the Cube.
Yeah, he did Thrash, and he did any time there was ever skateboarding in a movie, Police Academy, and any time they had a skateboarder, it was Tony Hawk.
He had to.
Yeah,
you're talking about a teenager at the time in the 80s,
and that was him getting his buddies paid with him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
he seems like that type
of
guy.
Mike McGill, Lance Mountain, come here, I got something. Rodney Mullen.
Like they got just because they were associated with it.
Y'all want to get paid? We're gonna do a fucking movie.
Back then, nobody knew shit as far as like the movies.
They knew something no one knew.
They had the key.
Yeah.
You know,
if like David Spade or anybody was in a movie and they needed them to skateboard, who you think was training them?
Exactly.
Like your boy Christian Slater, they had to take him to skateboarding school.
Yeah,
they did. They all every day they had to wake up, go skateboard with them.
That's wild.
Yeah, like imagine getting paid. It's like you had a secret knowledge back then.
You really did. They were the
there
go-to.
was no one else.
Yeah.
Now they can get anybody.
Yeah, anybody will teach
Some
you. Some
dude can teach you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony Hawk, man, he changed the game of skateboarding.
That's the show, y'all. As always, thank you for listening.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. If you happen to be watching on Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't hate on our
We
YouTube.
don't care. Watch, listen, anywhere.
Watch, listen, follow on TikTok.
Anywhere. Watch a TikTok short. Watch a YouTube video. Watch a Spotify video.
Hope y'all enjoyed it. So yeah, hit that superretropod@gmail.com. Hit up superretropod.com, our website. Give us a like, give us a follow on all the social medias, on the wherever you listen. Go leave a rate. Go give us a rating. Go leave a review.
Keep sending those emails, man. We love them.
Just anywhere. You can send them on social media too, because some of the ones we read earlier were from, TikTok and Instagram. We just really appreciate this, and it's always good to hear from you.
Yep.
So
glad to be back with you.
And we'll try not to make it a big a gap as we just went through, but hey, you never know.
Hey, summer's winding down a little bit for our sports stuff, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll get some more in for sure. So until next time, y'all.
Keep it retro.